Welcome back to What Would It Cost? On today's episode, we're talking all things real estate with the one and only Kate Broddick.
And big shout out to our sponsor, Elemental Wellness Studio. Joe and Gio have done a great job by putting together this awesome facility that has ice baths, saunas, magnesium floats. They do breathwork session, meditation, and all that other good stuff to keep you dialed in and feeling good.
What is it going to cost?
How much? Hi, my name is Nicholas Regina.
My name is Michael Sakuro.
And you're listening to
What Would It Cost?
Is that good?
Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for coming out. We're really excited for this episode. Thank you.
I like your mom.
Shout out, mama. Appreciate that.
No, thank you for coming out. So we wanted to get right into it and give us a bit of your background, what got you into real estate, and tell us about the start.
Well, my name is Kate Broddick, and I am head coach of the Kate Broddick team in Brantford and Norfolk. So we now have 2 locations, which services Brantford, Brant County, and Norfolk County. I am in my 11th year of real estate full-time, and I actually came from a dental hygiene background previously, so I was in healthcare prior to getting licensed. And to be honest with you, that was just a transition of curiosity, wanting to get into real estate for my own personal benefit from an investing side. And within 9 months, I had left my career in dental hygiene and went full-time right into real estate. So,
wow.
Yeah, it was quite the difference in career change, but very exciting nonetheless. All about relationships, right?
Right.
So,
No, absolutely.
right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
My wife is a dental hygienist. Even with that education in that course, like it's pretty intense.
It is intense.
So for you to just hop out of that after a short period of time, something must have been calling you.
Yeah, it was. It was not an easy choice, to be honest. I really enjoyed my career.
Yeah.
I loved my team. I loved the patients, and I was really good at it. I think the biggest thing for me was that entrepreneurial spirit, wanting to build something for yourself and still be able to have those relationships and connections, because that's really what I thrive off of. And it was just something that, I had in my gut that I had to do it, and I listened to myself, and I've never ever looked back. Nice. So I was thinking about kind of keeping it, but then if your wife is a dental hygienist, you know that they have to do portfolios, and they were always my least favorite. And that year I was supposed to do one. I was like, this is my exit strategy. So, it's a great career.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. And the entrepreneurial spirit, where did that stem from?
You know what? Like I've always been quite creative in terms of, I don't want to say like marketing, but Ryan had built a business in chiropractic, and I actually helped him open his clinic. And because of that, I got to see all facets of it: the administrative side, the budgeting, the, client care, the follow-up, and being able to set your own hours and do things the way that you feel is the best way to do it. And I think that was the difference for me. So being able to look at real estate and have that vision of not just selling houses, but content creating. And back then, Facebook was really the thing. You didn't have Reels and TikTok and all of that 10 years ago. Thank God. But now I look at it, and it's you've got so many different avenues in your business, whether it be the administrative side, the marketing side, the creating content, even like just the client care and presentations. Your day is never the same.
Right.
I find, whereas it was a little bit monotonous in dental hygiene. You come in, you clean teeth, they leave. You come in, you clean teeth, they leave. So the days could be long, whereas I honestly blink and I feel like I didn't get enough done today.
Yeah, literally.
Right?
We say it all the time.
And you're doing the same thing, right? I mean, a offshoot of real estate and mortgages and lending. I mean, it's the same thing. You're running a business. You have content to create. You put out your videos. To me, it just is more exciting. So.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Not that cleaning a good mouth isn't.
Teach their own.
So.
Makes sense. Makes total sense. Yeah.
And tell us a bit about the head coach, because you mentioned you're the head coach for your team.
So, and there's a distinction there. So a lot of people wonder, so I'm with Revel Realty. Ryan and Nikki Saravelli are the founders. Shout out to them. I've known them for quite some time. Not on an intimate level, but we went to the same high schools together. Okay. And basically what drew me to them outside of their marketing and their culture was the ability for me to be able to open brokerages without being a broker of record. Most real estate agents are not savvy on the administrative side, and I'll be honest, I feel like the broker of record is probably the worst position ever. Sorry, Dean, that's Nikki and Ryan's brother, who's our broker of record, and he's amazing. And I wouldn't want to do what he does. So that gave me that avenue of being able to open a brokerage. So we don't own it, we run it, which is really neat. So they give us a lot of autonomy, which is fantastic. So Revel headquarters technically owns the brokerage, but I'm the head coach. I run it. So because Ryan was in basketball, he played professional basketball in Boston. I think he kind of termed that head coach from like a sports field, right? Like you're a head coach, you know? Like so it's almost like you're coaching your team,
right?
Which I really love.
That's
I
awesome.
love that term, right? And because I was always using team leader, but I feel like head coach is just such a better term to use. So I run the Brantford Cape Broddick team and the Norfolk Cape Broddick team. So I actually, myself and Ryan came up with a team concept because I like intimate culture. I like being able to pick and choose who I surround myself with in a day. I'm big into energy and connection.
Absolutely.
And so as a brokerage, anybody walks through the door and they become part of that brokerage. Whereas from a team environment, you're almost recruiting like-minded people who you're going to be spending a lot of time with.
Right.
And so we opened Brantford and Norfolk as team offices. So there's still the ability to have a brokerage there if someone wanted it, which we do have one in Brantford, actually.
Right.
That's
Very
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
I like that
really
model.
that.
Yeah.
It allows everyone to just do it embraces everyone's strengths.
It does.
Right?
It does. And I love
you.
that collective collaborative culture that Revel offers and does so well. Even if you go into their headquarters, which before making the decision, I'm really close with my team and like we do everything together. And so before making that final yes, I needed their approval almost because we are a team, right? Collectively. And so I actually took them down on a limo bus and brought them to the headquarters or their head office, which is beautiful and really speaks to the culture they're creating with like glass doors instead of like closed doors. They want that open door policy, that open pit feeling where, people can come in and sit at desks and collaborate and build that positive culture of collaboration, which is what you don't normally see in brokerages. Very old school, like I'm not sharing my ideas with you. You might take them and heaven forbid you succeed too, right? It's so foolish when you think about it. Just because someone does something really well doesn't mean sharing that knowledge, that person's going to take away your shine, right? But Revel's really into that. So that's why we did the 2 team offices.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very, very
and what
cool.
brought you to those 2 areas?
Well, Brantford, I actually landed about almost, I think, 11, 12 years ago now. And so obviously, naturally, Brantford would be the location. So Brantford and Brant County would be where I first signed up to open that team brokerage, even though Norfolk is open before it.
Right.
The reason why Norfolk happened was because a couple of years ago, before the pandemic, we saw the prices escalate in Brantford and Brant County. And it was kind of buying first-time home buyers out of the market. They weren't able to get in there. And so we saw this natural progression of bringing our clients down 20, 30 minutes down the road into Norfolk County, which their prices were significantly cheaper.
Right.
And so I saw what Brantford went through from about 2014 onwards. We started to gain momentum and people from the GTA were coming here and our prices were starting to escalate and Brantford was becoming more popular. I saw that same progression happen in Norfolk County, and so I jumped on it and thought, you know what? I have agents in Norfolk County, I have agents in Brantford and Brant County. If we can have 2 offices where we can seamlessly bring not only our team but our clients, that's just a better service.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And because it's such a small area and it's like, those little country towns or, they're small, everyone knows everyone. I felt it was really important to have a physical location for them to see that we were a part of the community because we want to be a part of the community.
Right. Yeah.
And we have agents that are born and raised and live there. I felt that they needed to see that we were invested in their community just as much as they were investing in us for our service.
Right. Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
Yeah, looking at that mentality, said it's a small town, so they want to have that physical location. They're not going to be on Instagram and be like, hey, I need to buy a house. They'd rather walk in,
and
meet
that's
you face
just
to face,
it.
have a coffee.
And we have that we have that real kind of country little building. So I bought the very first post office that was ever in Norfolk, in their downtown. And we actually kept the sign and put it in our office. And and it's got like a porch in the front, and it's very quaint. And inside we tried to keep that modern farmhouse feel, and we decorated it with all black and white photos of Norfolk County and different pinnacle spots, because we wanted it to be very
authentic.
And you know, if we have people from the community coming in, which we hope to, you know, use our boardroom to do presentations, to bring people in for first-time home buyer meetings and things like that. We wanted them to understand that we really appreciated the community that we were in, and we wanted to honor it. And so the office is really cute. We're going to have a grand opening probably at the end of the month, if not the beginning of July or beginning of August. And so we're really excited to let the community come in and see what we've done with the place.
Nice.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That'll hit different with them, right? Because they'll look at that and they'll say like, wow, this team was very mindful of bringing out, you know, what speaks volumes to us, and it hits them a little emotionally that it's like, you know, they got behind our community, right? And they understand it with the pictures and with keeping some of the construction. You said the peak of for sure. That's awesome. Very cool. Very
so
cool.
we're really excited about it. And I think it's important that we embrace what Norfolk is versus trying to bring in what Brantford was to us. And so the two offices are actually completely different, which is really fun. So that one will be open in August, the Brantford office. So
very cool. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you. It's been a long year doing it. I'll never do it again. It was a lot.
And so how does that look now? So you see that there's an opportunity.
Yes.
And with that opportunity, you would contact Nikki and Ryan, and you would again sit down and strategize a game plan.
Yes.
And put your heads together, and then leverage the resources in the team to power up this brokerage. So what is that?
Exactly. Well, I mean, I have to say they're so open-minded and they're so empowering to their already existing head coaches that, you know, I went to him and Ryan initially and said, you know, I'm really thinking about this idea of Norfolk, even though I hadn't even got Brantford up off the ground, and they, let's do it. Let's do it. Yes, 1,000%. Yeah. And that's the way they are there. And they have, like, obviously, like as any corporate company would have, they have guidelines, you know, that they want to keep the brands, you know, consistent. But they really empower their brokerages and teams to bring their own branding in. So like our pairing is it really works really well, to be honest. And they sit down with you, and they have like kind of guidelines on each brokerage or team brokerage, and they let you run with it. And you know, obviously we get approvals and stuff from them, but they've been so easy. It's almost too easy to work with that it's like, why wouldn't you want to be in this brokerage?
Amazing.
Yeah. So in light of what would it cost? So what would it cost to open up that brokerage location?
Well, it really depends. And once again, they have no set guidelines on what you need to do. I mean, obviously for a physical location, I bought the building in Norfolk, but I'm leasing the building in Brantford because location to me was the most important. Right. I had an opportunity to have a commercial zoned building in the downtown core of Norfolk. Brantford doesn't really have that capabilities. So I'm in a plaza which has great visibility. Right. So I think from that standpoint, there's no real buy-in, but you have to, like, the costs are on myself for either buying the building or leasing the building. You need to staff it. I mean, but my team is large. I have 9 staff, so 7 full-time and 2 evening staff. And so obviously that would be a cost on the head coach, but they give you that flexibility in how many people you want to hire, what's your needs, right? And I mean, starting from the ground up, I mean, it can be quite costly, but if you have the right people in terms of a team or the brokerage with you, and you're making revenue, you're in the green, like, it's worth it, right? Yeah. So I know that's a roundabout way to say, but it's really hard to quantify what the cost would be, because I mean, I couldn't imagine what the rent would be here. In Toronto or North York, right? Mm-hmm. In Brantford, it was more expensive than in Norfolk. Norfolk was obviously cheaper. So it's really those costs, they could vary
So now looking at the areas you specialize in, so what are some costs that people could expect in terms of residential real estate and commercial real estate, especially now that obviously times are shifting a bit from the hike and with COVID?
Yeah, and I mean, at one point, I think we were at like almost a $900,000 average sale in Brantford and well over $700 in Norfolk, and that was back in January and February. And now we're seeing like between 25 to 30% decreases in prices.
Wow. Yeah.
Like it's wild. It's almost like we've completely wiped out 2022 pricing. So if you're looking for like a residential home in Brantford, if you're looking at say maybe a townhouse as a first-time home buyer, you're probably looking in the 600s now, whereas they were hitting over 8 in the winter. If you're looking at condos, it could go anywhere between like 350 and 500. So once again, an investor or first-time home buyer. Average price right now is over 750,000 in Brantford for a detached home. And in Norfolk County, I mean, once again, those prices came down as well. And the interesting thing about Norfolk is they don't have a lot of attached homes. So like you don't get a lot of townhouses, semis, and condos. It's more detached. And you're looking at now in the low sixes.
And what does that look like for lot size, square footage? What are you generally looking at?
Well, I mean, for lot sizes, you're looking at probably like your standard like 45 by 110, which would be like a subdivision-y style home. I mean, in the north end of Brantford, you get much larger lots and the houses are spread out a little bit more, but in newer communities, like in the Garden Avenue or Empire, which is West Brant, those are probably the size of the lots, and you're looking for anywhere between maybe 22 to 2,300 square feet. I mean, we have newer homes that are still selling for, you know, in the high 9s to $1 million, but that was the norm a couple months ago. Now, if you've got a listing that's $1 million, like you can anticipate it to be sitting for like almost 30 days. Whereas if you didn't hold offers a few months ago, that house would have been gone in hours. It's crazy how fast that market switch happened. Just wild. But those are the kinds of the costs that you can expect from a business perspective. If you're looking at commercial, I mean, once again, location is everything. So what your monthly cost could be with your TMI could be anywhere between, you know, $12 to $20 a square foot. Just depending, right?
And then in terms of like an investor looking to buy a rental property out there, given that now the demand is higher for rent and rent has gone up, what's that look like for someone that's looking that can afford maybe that $350,000 condo or that $700,000 home?
I mean, and once again, actually, it was almost impossible to make the numbers work for investors 3 months ago because the price to buy the house and the price of rent didn't really make sense, right? You'd have to like charge $3,000 a month.
You couldn't carry.
You couldn't carry, or you'd be paying out of pocket. Like it really didn't make any sense. But now we're not seeing the rents drop.
No, not at all.
Not at all. Exactly. The demand is so much higher. But we're seeing the prices come right down. So if you're an investor looking to buy or sell right now is the time, right? Like you just took 200, 300,000 off home prices in some instances, but your rents haven't changed. So now the numbers really make sense.
The cap rate goes up
1,000%. And I mean, in town, I mean, so I can give you this. In 2014, I bought 3 townhouses as investments, and we were charging between pile them up, right? Get them going. So I was charging between $1,200 and $1,300 a month. And that was in 2014. Now for townhouses, they're going for up to $2,400 a month. That's $1,000 increase. That's nuts. Who are paying these prices? But it's because there's little inventory. It was so hard to get into the market. Now with interest rates going up, first-time home buyers, it's hard.
It's supposed to get a little bit more wild too, with 1.5 million people, new immigrants in the next 3 years, and it just being simply a supply and demand issue. Right? People need places to live. Right.
That's right. And with COVID, a lot of the building was stopped, and then we had construction walkouts, and I mean, so we're not really producing more homes, but we're growing in population, right? But it isn't a phenomenal time to be an investor now. It wasn't back in January. A lot of people took the back seat and were like, you know what, this doesn't make any sense. But now if anyone's looking for, I want to say deals, it's not deals, we're just corrected prices. Now is the time to buy for sure.
Absolutely.
And it's so refreshing to hear that, right? And then to shine light and look at it from an optimistic level, where this is a good thing for a lot of people that have been stacking their chips and that have been mindful of you know, putting some money away and being good with their personal expenses, because now is when you can move into the market, and it makes total sense for your cash flow and for you to be in operating in the green, like you said, with being able to rent these spaces out and get in for a decent enough price, right?
And getting quality tenants.
Quality tenants.
Quality tenants.
You can pick from lots and lots of
That's
people
right.
that are going to be applicants.
And
for
it's a lot of these young professionals, these, you know, people who are educated and, you know, they've just simply don't have the means to purchase. So you're getting like exceptional credit scores, great references, great jobs. I mean, honestly, the rental market has been phenomenal. And I guess right now, even for yourselves, like and these are the conversations that I even coach my team on, is buyers have really been trigger shy lately, because they're like, are the price, we've just been beaten up for 2 years. You guys, all you sellers have literally beaten us up. Now the tables have turned. So how much lower the price is going to go, but at the expense of the interest rates going up.
Exactly.
So where's the balance in that, right? It's trying to educate our clients of, are you waiting for this to hit 7% interest rates like we were just talking about? But the prices come down, but then you're locked in at a much higher rate.
Right.
So where's the balance, right?
Right. Yeah. There's very interesting discussions that we're having right now with our private lenders, that they don't want to go acquire any real estate. They want to lend it in the private market, get their 7, 8, 9, 10% yield, depends on the loan to value and property. And they're waiting for the prices to drop a little bit more
to finding that
until
bottom
they go
point,
in and scoop up some more
Really,
real estate, right? So it's interesting to hear out everyone's strategy, but their strategy in particular is something that's very interesting to us, because they've done well with placing their money in areas that have built their net worth, right, and have put them in the good positions that they're in now. And they have their finger really tight on the pulse as to where to allocate it.
That's interesting to hear, actually, because then you wonder, is that the advice that, you know, if these people who have obviously done very well and are very savvy with real estate investing, is that the advice that you give to the clients as well? Like, you know, I mean, just your average first-time home buyer or someone who's moving up or downsizing, whatever. Like, what is that the kind of advice that we give out now? Is like, do we wait to see how far prices go down, or do we lock in a better rate?
Exactly.
Right.
And that's what it is too. Having that rate conversation, it's hard because you have variable and fixed. There's almost a 2% difference between them right now.
I'm going to ask you a very personal question. Are you Are you always variable?
For the most part,
yes. Same with me. All mortgage advisors are.
We do shine light on both options, and we say, please don't hold us at a cross for this. Do not quote us on it, because God forbid it doesn't go their way, and then, you know, as the clock's ticking and they're in that variable mortgage for years, right? Like, they're just thinking of you as to why they made that decision. So we do explain both options to them, and at any point in time too, like with a variable flex, you could move into a fixed, right? So there's strategy above and beyond just sitting and waiting in that variable position, right? So, but yes, for the most part, for
and I asked that question because you know, anytime we're purchasing or buying and selling real estate, I like the flexibility of the variable rate, because you're only paying the 3 months interest. But also, if you look at collectively, I'm a data person. I like to have information in front of me before I make the decision, and I also take the advice of the experts in the field. So if you're doing the variable rate, why would I want to do a fix? And I want to see the history, right? Because if you look at the history over time, very, very, very seldom does the variable rate ever go above and beyond what the fixed rate would be, right?
That's why over the last the data is over the last 16 years, you wouldn't have lost by taking the variable rate. So, and the only time even on a personal level where I was a bit more pushed towards the fixed was only through the time of COVID, where you had rates at 1.4, 1.5%,
which was crazy.
So that's like, go fixed, because if you know you're going to have that longevity to that property, then it makes sense. But now, for myself, personal level, like we said, variable all day long. It gives you that flexibility, like you said, between the penalty, between maybe fixing it and if rates come back down, and looking at the history of it. For sure. I'm a big history person. I like to see the data, and if you look at the data and you follow it, just like in, like we were just talking about the stock market right now, right?
Yeah.
So
good.
Yeah, numbers don't lie and history
they
repeats
don't.
itself.
That's exactly right. Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
True. Tell us about how you really empower your team, and obviously for the most part it's all females. It looks like you guys have a lot of fun, like you guys are a big friend group, but outside of that you're still high performers and you still get the job done, and people trust you and they like dealing with you guys, right? So
it's we have a phenomenal culture, and I would say over the last year we've really focused on it. Once again, it's about the people, not just anyone coming on. Like, we want people to have the same values, to be able to inspire each other, to share ideas. Like, that's the collaboration that we're really looking for.
Right.
And so, I mean, we do a lot together. I mean, right now it's been a little bit rocky because our offices weren't open, so we were a little bit separate since September of last year. But we do our one-on-one meetings, our team meetings, our touch points. We do a lot of events together, so we like to keep ourselves, tight knit, and we make sure that we have open communication, which is huge. We love people bringing ideas to the table, so it's not just the Cape Broddick show, it's the Cape Broddick team, right? So if people have a better way or a more efficient way of doing something, we implement it right away.
Awesome.
And the social media is a big one. I mean, what you see is really what we are. I do, COVID aside, we do really large social shoots to get our team together, to have some fun, right? To enjoy each other. And the same thing with our events that we do. We just actually on the 16th had a team baseball event. So we all went down to Toronto. We went to a Blue Jays game. We went out for dinner. And that to me is really important, because if you really think about it, you spend more time with the people that you work with than you probably do your own families at home.
Absolutely.
So I feel like you need to nurture that. It's shouldn't just be work, numbers, who's producing. It should be, outside of that, things like this. We encourage our agents to go on podcasts, meet people, chat, have good conversations. So I think the empowering is kind of like a little bit of everything on a day-to-day basis. I do video messages once a week, to try to get them riled up and get them going. We'd run contests for sales. And at the end of the year, I do incentive programs for the agents. And it's more so just like a fun competition where if they hit their goal, then there's like the carrot. If you can reach the carrot, then I'll usually send them on a vacation. I took Stacy in a limo and went and saw what's the Toronto Maple Leafs? It's like hockey. I was the one not watching the game, but her and I went together. We got front row tickets, and so it was an incentive to get them to do well, which they would want to do anyways. But then at the end of it, it's like, you know what, I'm really proud of you. Let's that's cool. Do this together or whatever. Shopping sprees we've done. So I think that's kind of the impact, and they empower me, to be honest. Like, they're just as good to me as I hope that I am to them. So
right. Very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love that. Good on you for that, Kate.
Yeah.
Thank you again for coming out today. It was really amazing talking with you, and we're really excited to have you onto the show. So thank you for that.
I appreciate it. Thanks for reaching out. I love your little set.
Thank you. And
you're a rock star.
And let everybody know where they could check you and your team out.
Yeah, so I mean, we're all over social media, but Instagram, I think, is always my favorite. I say that all the time, and Facebook, I guess, too. So you can go to @the Cape Broddick team for the team page, which highlights our agents and our listings and all things real estate. I'm looking at this one, not here. If you want to go to my personal, it's agent.kate, and that's just a mix mash of real estate, silly reels, inspirational quotes, and my team. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, be sure to check her out.
And big shout out to our sponsors again, Gio and Joe from Elemental Wellness Studio. They have an awesome establishment with, again, cold tubs, saunas, the ozone, breath work, meditation, all that good stuff that helps keep you on track and live out your healthy lifestyle.
Thanks again for watching this episode. Be sure to like, follow, and share. Hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next week.